Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
It was a rainy day today, but that didn't stop students from protesting a local state representative candidate. Good evening, I'm Carter Eckel. Thanks for joining us. The college Republicans protested outside of Democrat Sarah Grace's office this afternoon. The protest was sparked by reports of a $5,800 discrepancy from when Grace was the East Elementary Parent-Teacher Organization's treasurer. Protesters were chanting things such as "Sarah's a disgrace" and "Show us the money."
So I don't want to make an assumption, right? I don't want to assume that she stole this money, but maybe she did, or she's just too incompetent to keep track of money. Both of those, I think, qualify her to be unfit to represent the 94th District.
Grace told the Post she was unaware the PTO was having issues with the funds over the summer. Ohio University's Cutler Hall is celebrating its 200th anniversary this Friday at 1 o'clock on College Green. Construction broke ground in 1816 on the building before finishing in 1818. Since, Cutler Hall has served as dorms, classrooms, and a library. The building was named after one of the founders of the school, Manasseh Cutler. President Roderick McDavis will lead the event and has invited faculty, students, and community members to join. Ohio University is naming its own Ginny Chabot speaker for the 2016 Fall Commencement Ceremony on December 10th. Chabot has worked for the university for nearly 20 years and is currently an associate professor for the College of Health and Sciences. Chabot is a three-time recipient of the University Professor Award and has also received the Presidential Teaching Award twice. 2 Athens residents are facing charges after confiscation of 100 marijuana plants on Tuesday. A tip to the Criminal Interdiction Unit led them to a residence on Marion Johnson Road where a grow operation was found. Everything involving the alleged grow operation was confiscated, including 4 firearms. Containers of marijuana and firearms were confiscated from a neighbor's home as well. Charges against the 2 for illegal cultivation of marijuana and possession will be presented to a future grand jury. Additional funding is being approved for the new Sandstone apartments. The Ohio Housing Finance Agency approved a $1.5 million 10-year loan at 2.5% interest rate on Friday. Frontier Community Services of Chillicothe was awarded federal tax credits of $780,000 per year for 10 years on the apartments. 50 affordable apartments are to be built on the land located off of Route 682. Rod Siddons of FCS said the goal is to have half of the apartments completed by the end of 2017, with the entire project being done by 2018.
Good evening and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Nanda Harris. We had a warm and sunny start to the week, but today that was not the case. The region had lots of rain as well as some falling temperatures in front of a cold front that will pass through later tonight. Right now, temperatures have already dropped down quite a bit. We're sitting at 61 degrees in Columbus, 63 degrees here in Athens, and down south we're at 68 in Ironton. As we go overnight, those temperatures will continue to drop at 60 degrees by midnight and 56 by 4 a.m. We'll continue to see that rain going throughout the night as well. Around 8 p.m. we still have a chance for some thunderstorms, but after that we'll just see some periods of heavy rain throughout the region. Overnight, our lows are all going to be in the 40s and 50s, 48 degrees the low up in Columbus, 49 over in Marietta, and 51 degrees down in Ripley. Again, we'll continue to see those showers overnight, and unfortunately, those will continue through tomorrow, but we'll have more on when those will let up coming up a little bit later on Newswatch. Back to you, Carter.
A 24-year-old Ohio mother charged with killing her 3 sons says she was tricked by law enforcement. Investigators say Brittany Pilkington admitted to the murders during hours of police questioning in 2015. That video interview was shown in a Logan County court over the last 2 days as part of a motion to suppress the hearing. Pilkington's lawyers claimed their client's rights were violated during the 3-hour interview and the video should be thrown out. A judge is reviewing the recorded police interviews. Pilkington has pleaded not guilty to aggravated murder charges. An Ohio judge is deciding to allow voters who were wrongly removed from the voter registration list to cast ballots in the presidential election. The ruling comes after a federal appeals court in Cincinnati found that Ohio's process for maintaining voter rolls violated federal law. An estimated tens of thousands of people are affected by the ruling. The judge's order will allow voters removed from the list since 2011 to cast a ballot in the general election. Republican vice presidential candidate Mike Pence will arrive in Circleville on Saturday. Pence is set to make an appearance at a prayer event at Crossroads Church on Tarleton Road beginning at 10 a.m. The event, Celebrate Faith and Freedom, is sponsored by the Faith and Freedom Coalition. It is free to enter, but tickets are encouraged to allow the event to stay within the 500-person capacity of the building. Staying in Circleville, Cecil Weston won first place in the 2016 Giant Pumpkin Competition. Weston's pumpkin weighed in at nearly 1,600 pounds at the Circleville Pumpkin Show yesterday. Last year's winner, grown by Rusty Ortman, weighed in at 1,666 pounds. Ortman was not entered in this year's competition. Weston will take home a check of $1,000 and a 3-foot-high trophy following the win. Other awards, such as the Nancy Martin Prettiest Pumpkin, were also handed out yesterday. Vinton County High School held a forum last night to discuss the possibility of arming teachers. Last winter, Ann Sowers, a cook at the school, started a petition to allow trained teachers and staff to be armed. In the spring, the district conducted a survey where out of 345 people, 77% said yes. Superintendent Brooks said the district will take the information to the safety committee before they move forward. The Rock Hill School District already has a policy where some staff can be armed. The Trimble School Board is authorizing a lighting overhaul. They will be replacing all of the current bulbs with LEDs. The district currently uses bulbs that burn at 32 watts. The LED bulbs will burn 12 watts. The district currently pays $290,000 annually in energy costs. The switch to LED bulbs as well as updated lighting controls would bring the energy costs down to $75,000 annually for the district. The change will be finished by May of next year. Former presidential candidate Carly Fiorina will be headlining the West Virginia Republican Party's annual dinner. She will speak at the Victory Dinner at the Charleston Marriott Town Center tonight. Fiorina dropped out of the Republican presidential primary in February. She was briefly named vice presidential running mate to Senator Ted Cruz before his exit. In 1999, Fiorina was the CEO of Hewlett-Packard, but was fired 6 years later after leading a merger that laid off 30,000 workers. And coming up after the break, uproar over some of Donald Trump's comments during the debate, what the Republican nominee had to say today about accepting the final results. And the rumors are flooding. The tech sphere. We'll tell you what the Big Apple might be releasing. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like we're having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
The final presidential debate of the 2016 election season is in the books, and one major moment from last night's showdown between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton continues to make waves today. Steve Nunez has more on what may happen after the race is called.
Bottom line, we're going to win.
Donald Trump is doubling down, promising to accept the results of the November 8th election under one condition.
That I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
At Wednesday's debate, it was this that left many observers stunned.
Do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now.
On Thursday, Trump's campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, tried to clarify his comments.
He will respect the results of the election, but everybody, including Al Gore in 2000, waits to see what those election results are.
The move will put many down-ballot Republicans in close races in a tight spot. Arizona Senator John McCain, a former nominee himself, released a statement saying, in part, in every previous election, the loser congratulates the winner and calls them my president. That's not just the Republican way or the Democratic way, it's the American way. Trump says he wants to leave all options on the table.
Of course, I would accept a clear election result, but I would also reserve my right to contest or file a legal challenge in the case of a questionable result.
With less than 3 weeks to go, Trump appears content to finish his campaign on his terms. In Washington, I'm Steve Nannis.
Also on Thursday, two top Republican senators released statements critical of Trump's comments. John Thune of South Dakota and Kelly Ayotte of New Hampshire both expressed confidence in the American electoral system. Ayotte adding that any reports of irregularities will be investigated. There's just under 3 weeks until Election Day, and after Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton met last night, according to a CNN ORC poll of the debate watchers, Hillary Clinton won the debate 52% to 39%. The problems also continue to mount for Wells Fargo. The California Attorney General is investigating the embattled bank for identity theft. It's connected to bank employees creating up to 2 million unauthorized accounts over the years to reach sales goals. According to a search warrant in the case, Wells Fargo employees may have committed identity theft by unlawfully obtaining customer records to open accounts and credit cards that nobody asked for. It's unclear who California is targeting in this probe. Wells Fargo says it's cooperating with the investigation. Apple may be getting set to unveil a new refresh of its Mac computers. The tech giant announced a media event scheduled for October 27th in an invitation to reporters. The invitation says hello again. That may be a nod to the Mac's launch in 1984 when the computer introduced itself with "Hello, I'm Macintosh." Rumors are running rampant on what to expect. Among those rumors, unveiling of a lighter, faster MacBook Pro laptop complete with a touchscreen feature. Also an update for at least one model of the MacBook Air. On Wall Street today, U.S. stocks took a dip after telecom sector took a hit. Here's a look at stocks of local interest. Typhoon Haima continues to ravage the Philippines. We'll tell you the latest damage she's caused. That story's still ahead.
And we've had a lot of rain across the region today. I'll let you know when that's going to let up. Plus, this weekend, it may be time to bring out that fall jacket. All that and your extended forecast coming up on Newswatch.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
More than 60,000 people in the Philippines have been taking cover as the storm Typhoon Haima wreaked havoc. The government warned the storm was powerful enough to damage crops and infrastructure. Thousands of people had to leave their homes and are staying in evacuation centers. It's the second major storm to hit the Philippines in a week. Haima is now forecasted to head towards China, but it's losing strength.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Ananda Harris. We may not have any typhoons right now, but it's been pretty rainy out there today. Seen rain throughout the whole day across the region. Still raining right now in Athens at 62 degrees. We have some calm winds, but feeling very humid out there with that rain. Across the region, temperatures all in the 60s, 61 up in Columbus, 62 over New Lexington, and we're going to be a little bit warmer down south at 68 in Ironton. Taking a look at our almanac for today, we were a little bit cooler than earlier this week, but still on the warm side for our high at 73 degrees, and our low once again on the warm side as well. That will change though after that cold front pushes through. Looking at our precipcast, we do see that cold front right off to our east. That's already causing a lot of rain and some drop in temperatures across the region. As we go overnight, we'll continue to see that push eastward with that low pressure system. That rain still sticking over us, and tomorrow that rain will continue in the region. But as we see that continue to push east, that rain will clear up tomorrow evening with high pressure off to our west, and that will be the dominant weather system for the weekend, giving us some nice sunny skies. Overnight, though, our lows are going to be in the 40s and 50s. 50 degrees the low in Athens, 51 over in Ripley, and up north a little bit cooler at 48 degrees in Columbus and 49 in Newark. Overnight, once again, that low of 50 degrees. We may see a few rumbles of thunder early into the evening. We'll still see that rain continuing, so make sure you send those kids out with an umbrella and maybe a heavy jacket because we will be at 54 degrees. That temperature with the rain will feel pretty chilly out there. As we go through the day, we're not going to warm up very much. In fact, we're probably going to hit our highest temperatures earlier in the morning. Then things will continue to decrease a little bit as we see that cold front moving through. We'll continue to see that rain in the region until about 4 p.m. when we'll start to see that clear up. Still a little bit of a chance for rain though on your evening commute home for work. And tomorrow, again, that high is going to be 54 degrees. As temperatures falling tomorrow night, things are going to get pretty chilly, and again during the day, things are not going to warm up too much. Across the region tomorrow, temperatures all highs in the 50s, 54 up in Columbus, 55 over in New Martinsville, and 59 degrees at our warmest point in Ironton. For your 7-day, we do see that cold front moving through, dropping things down for Friday and Saturday in the 50s. But then as that high pressure begins to build, we'll heat up to 65 degrees on Sunday. After that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all in the 60s. With partly cloudy skies, we'll see a slight chance for rain again on Thursday, but overall a pretty nice week ahead of you. Over to you, Carter.
Thanks a lot, Ananda. A new study shows that good relationships with your coworkers could have a positive impact on your health. Kim Hutcherson has more in today's Health Minute.
Good relationships with your coworkers could have significant positive impacts on your health. That's what researchers at the University of Queensland, Australia say. They analyzed 58 studies from 15 countries, which included data from 19,000 employed people. The studies covered a wide range of jobs, including service industry jobs, sales, and the military. Researchers found that those who identify strongly with their colleagues or with their employer have better overall health and a lower risk of burnout. Lead researcher Nicholas Steffens said that on-the-job social links contributed to both psychological and physiological health. And it's not just employees who benefit. Employers get better results as well. According to Steffens, there were performance benefits in addition to health perks. But researchers say their study did not establish a cause and effect relationship. So if your work environment isn't particularly social, don't panic. The study was published in the journal Personality and Social Psychology Review. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
The results of the study even extends up the chain to employers. Now over to Blake with what I'm sure is a healthy sports segment.
Absolutely, Carter. You know that's always true. I'm Blake Baker, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the results of Ohio Soccer's game against Ball State from this afternoon. And Cleveland gets another shot at a world championship, this time on the diamond. All that and more when Newswatch returns. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back, I'm Blake Baker. The Cleveland Indians are headed to the World Series. The Tribe won 3-0 last night in Toronto to advance to their first World Series since 1997. Cleveland scored its 3 runs in the first 4 innings. Francisco Lindor scored on a Toronto error in the opening inning before Carlos Santana and Coco Crisp blasted solo homers in the 3rd and 4th. The lead was maintained by starter Ryan Merritt, who threw 4.1 scoreless innings in his first big league start. Headed by reliever Andrew Miller, Cleveland's bullpen held it down in Game 5 like it did all series long. Miller was named ALCS MVP, pitching 7.2 innings without an earned run and fanning 14 Blue Jays hitters. The Indians are searching for their third title all-time and their first since 1948. But before they can play for that title, the Tribe awaits the winner of the NLCS. In Game 4 last night, the Chicago Cubs defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers to tie the series at 2 games apiece. After being shut out in Games 2 and 3 and hitting just 185 as a team in the series, the Cubs exploded for 10 runs en route to a 10-2 victory. Anthony Rizzo and Addison Russell combined for 6 hits and 5 RBIs, and Chicago took advantage of 4 Dodger errors. LA has one final shot at home this series when it hosts Game 5 tonight. First pitch is set for 8 p.m. From the diamond to the gridiron, Week 7 of the NFL begins tonight when the Green Bay Packers host the Chicago Bears in an NFC North showdown. Despite the struggles of quarterback Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay boasts a 3-2 record. Rodgers' 60% completion percentage ranks 26th in the NFL, and he'll try to get his pack back on track without running back Eddie Lacy, who was ruled out for tonight's game. The Bears are 1-5 on the campaign and look to kickstart a poor red zone offense that's plagued them the past few weeks. Kickoff is set for 8:25 at Lambeau Field. Ohio's basketball teams will be getting a whole lot of exposure this winter. On Wednesday, the MAC announced that Ohio men's and women's hoops will play in 10 televised games as a part of the MAC's biggest television lineup in conference history. The men will play in 7 televised games across several networks, including ESPN2 and ESPNU. The Bobcats travel to Georgia Tech for their first nationally televised game, and 5 of their MAC games will also get airtime. The men start their regular season when they host the Southern Jaguars on November 12th. And Ohio's women will appear in 3 nationally televised games, all of which will be against MAC opponents. The Bobcats look to avenge 3 losses to Buffalo last season when the Bulls come to town on January 4th. After that, the Cats get airtime with contests in Toledo and Mount Pleasant. The regular season kicks off when Ohio visits High Point, North Carolina, on November 13th. And we wrap it up with Ohio soccer, who picked up its second conference win of the season this afternoon over Ball State. After a 45-minute weather delay, Ball State wasted no time, scoring just 10 minutes into the game. But it was all Ohio after that. The Bobcats scored 3 unanswered goals, 2 from Olivia Molesky, to give the Cardinals their first MAC loss and break their 10-game win streak. Ohio's next game is Sunday at 1 p.m. when the Bobcats host rival Miami. And that's all your news and notes in sports today. I'm Blake Baker. Tossing it back your way, Carter.
Thanks, Blake. A duck soaring through the skies, this time on a commercial airplane. Daniel the Duck has taken off across all social media after a flight from Charlotte to Asheville, North Carolina. He went viral when passengers began tweeting photos of the tiny passenger. The 4-year-old fowl is an emotional support duck for Carla Fitzgerald. She suffers from post-traumatic stress as a result of a serious accident. Fans are fascinated by Daniel's stylish shoes, hygiene habits, and his love of mac and cheese. Now over to Ananda with final weather.
Thanks, Carter. That rain we've been seeing today will continue overnight as that cold front continues to move into the region. Temperatures are going to drop down quite a bit overnight, hitting 60 degrees by midnight and 56 by 4 a.m. Our low tonight will be 50 degrees, and we still see that chance of showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder as we go overnight. Tomorrow, that rain will continue throughout most of the morning. That'll start to trail off toward the afternoon, but our high tomorrow is only going to reach 54 degrees. No need to worry, though, because on Saturday, it will be sunny once again as high pressure builds in the region. Things will heat up for the beginning of your work week. Temperatures going back into the 60s for Monday, and those skies will stay clear until Thursday next week when we do see a slight disturbance bring in another chance for rain. Overall, a very pretty week, though. That's all for weather. Over to you, Carter.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Carter Eckel. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find all the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.